It just after 9/11, and it became one of the most controversial tactics used by former President George W. Bush and his security team to fight the war on terror. The secret wiretapping, without warrants, of communications between U.S. residents and people overseas suspected of being terrorists. It drew fire because sometimes the communications of innocent Americans got caught up. In 2008, the practice was authorized by Congress, but with limitations. A warrant is now required to target an American, including Americans who are abroad. But it's still a hugely controversial program, and the Senate's just approved a 5-year extension of it. It'll be signed by President Obama.
Something with an enormous potential for abuse, certainly given the rather ugly history of the use of intelligence surveillance for illegitimate political purposes under presidents of both parties over many decades.
Julian Sanchez and other civil libertarians believe there are still way too many innocent people being monitored. Members of Congress who oppose the extension say this classified program is also too secretive, and they've pushed for more disclosure.
I think we ought to know whether, for purposes of the FISA Amendments Act, generally how many Americans are being swept up under the legislation.
But there won't be more disclosure because that got voted down. Dianne Feinstein, the Democrat who chairs the Senate Intelligence Committee, warned that shedding more light on who's being surveilled would destroy the wiretapping program, which she says has worked well.
In 4 years, 100 arrests to prevent something from happening in the United States, some of which comes from this program. So I think it's a vital program.
Conservative analyst Cliff May says a wide dragnet is worth the cost.
Let's suppose you're a Pakistani immigrant here, you don't have your green card yet, you call your uncle in Lahore. Yes, you could get caught up, and maybe your uncle is just a tailor in Lahore, but if he's a member of the Taliban, it's true, maybe there's going to be somebody in the federal government who thinks we need to ask some questions of this person.
But if you're the person here talking to the uncle in Lahore and you're completely innocent, you're still caught up in this.
You're not caught up. You're not caught up in the sense you're going to jail. You're not caught up in the sense that anything bad is going to happen to you.
But there are serious concerns about that. Civil libertarian Julian Sanchez points out that the National Security Agency, which does most of this surveillance, has a massive new data center in Utah where it stores all of its intercepts, even innocuous communications. Sanchez worries that in the future, anyone with a security clearance who has ill intentions could access that data center and pull the private communications of innocent people.
In response to that concern, a spokesperson for the NSA emailed us this statement about its data center. Its operations will be lawfully conducted in accordance with U.S. laws and policies. Without a doubt, one of the biggest misconceptions about NSA is that we are unlawfully listening in on or reading emails of U.S. citizens. This is simply not the case. NSA is unwavering in its respect for U.S. laws and American civil liberties. Brian Todd, CNN, Washington.